Hey film buffs, welcome back to Film Feature 43. Scream 2022 is finally here, and before I go and see it, I kind of want to put out thoughts of what might be in this movie, things that I've seen, things that I've thought about, just from the trailer and the different movies that I've seen and things that I've read. So I wanted to put that out before I went and saw it because it wouldn't make sense to put it out after I saw it. So I want this to be kind of a short video, so I'm going to jump right into it. How I want to do it is I have what's least likely at the top at the beginning, and then by the end I want to talk about what I think is definitely going to be in this film. So let's get into it. The number 5 thing that I think isn't really going to happen, but I've seen a lot of people talk about it, is Stu Macher's going to return in this film.
Yeah, you're going to love this one. It's a Scream, baby.
I think it would be fine to have Matthew Lillard show up in some capacity. I just don't know how it will work. I'm always up for Matthew Lillard in any movie that he's in, but I don't know how you're going to justify saying that Sidney and Gale, specifically Gale, who's researched these Woodsboro killings all this time, didn't know that Stu survived. I can't see that happening. The only way that I can kind of even see them working it in is not having Matthew Lillard there, but having his legacy being upheld by like a Ghostface cult or something that worships Billy and Stu just because they're whack jobs, and that's how you have Stu live on. I mean, the trailer kind of fanned these flames by having Stu's house in the trailer, so obviously returning there for some reason. I just don't think it's that Stu's in the movie, but in the long run, people want to see it for however they can make it work. Radio Silence, I think, is going to handle this pretty well, so I don't think they're going to do anything too gimmicky, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wanted to add it to this list.
We're going to carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you got to have a sequel.
The number 4 thing that I think is going to happen is we've already had one killer. We've already had 2 killers in 3 different films. I think this movie is going to have 3 killers, and I kind of have a list of 4 people who I think could fit into that slot if they don't get killed somewhere before the end credits. Wes is a good candidate. He's named after Wes Craven. What better way to honor the genre titan and the creator of these films to begin with than naming one of the killers after him? I think it's a fitting tribute to the guy who started it all. He's also labeled as the cautious type. I think that's a good cover for him to be like, hey guys, we need to be careful. Hey, what's that over there? What's going on over there? Hey, stop that. And being the killer in the end. What better way to get suspicion off yourself? Another likely candidate is Liv. The fact that she's dating Chad, and you can kind of reverse the Stu Macher and Tatum roles from the original film, I think is a good idea. Kind of an interesting way to switch those roles, especially Chad being the big football player. You wouldn't expect him to be taken out by his weak girlfriend. It kind of bends those gender roles, and I think that's kind of interesting for a horror film to do. I know that we've gotten female killers in the past, and Jill killed her boyfriend in Scream 4, but that was more of a killer killing a killer, a la Billy and Stu, stabbing each other, than an actual killer killing a victim. Mindy Meeks Martin is a good character to kind of fill into my Ghostface triad here. I mean, she is knowledgeable about horror films, kind of like Billy and Stu, but she's played off as the funny character, kind of like Randy. Her being related to Randy is kind of a good redemption for Randy's character since he got unceremoniously killed in the second film. Having one of his relatives be a killer would be just kind of an interesting twist on the nice guy persona that we got from Randy. And like Randy would say,
Everybody's a suspect!
My last kind of candidate to fill up under the Ghostface persona would be Tara, who we see in the trailers really getting chased by Ghostface and giving us Casey Becker vibes, being the first girl to be killed at the film. At least that's the way the trailers make it want to seem. But I think that, again, they could take what they did in the first film and flip it on its head and have Casey, instead of being the first victim, actually be the killer. And that's just kind of an alibi of why would I be the killer if I was being attacked. They sort of did this with Jill, but she's more of the victim. This isn't where the film is going to focus like it did on Jill. And that being said, that's why I don't think Sam is going to be the killer, because they're not going to take the final girl was actually the killer twist and reuse it in this film, especially since Scream 4 didn't do as well as they would hoped it to do to kick off a trilogy, and that's why they're kind of rebooting it softly now. I don't think they're going to go the path of Sam being the killer. Amber's a red herring. She seems mad at Tara and Sam in the trailers, or at least she gives off kind of those type of vibes. Red herring, I'm pretty sure she's going to be killed. Vince is going to be killed. And I think Richie is a red herring to kind of give you Billy Loomis vibes, and not really going to be that consequential of a character. I don't think he's going to get killed. I shouldn't say he's not consequential, but I don't think he's going to get killed. I don't think he's going to be a killer. I think he's just along for the ride to get him through, but it could be an emotional punch for Sam if her boyfriend is killed. All that being said, my number 3 pick for something that I think is going to happen is 13 Reasons Why is going to be a killer. He's my front horse in the race for being one of the killers, and I think he's going to kill his mom, which is Judy Hicks from Scream 4. I just have a feeling that she's not going to make it through the film, and what better way to get suspicion off yourself than play the cautious guy whose mother just got stabbed to death. We kind of see emotional beats with Judy in the trailer where she's racing home, but she could be racing home or racing somewhere to her demise. That would be a good way to get suspicion off of Wes, and I think that really would cement him as a cold-blooded killer where you kill your own mom just to get suspicion off yourself. I think that would be kind of a gut punch. Also, did you know that Judy was played by the same girl who played Wendy Peppercorn? I didn't know that until I saw her filmography. Thought that was interesting. Didn't know where to put it in the video. Here it is. 2. The metallic Ghostface mask that we see with, it seems like a flamethrower, I think catching Amber on fire, or somebody who appears to be Amber. I think that's going to be in a Stab movie, maybe like a fan-made movie, or one of the Stab movies, and it's just somebody who looks like Amber, and they kind of recreated Stu Macher's house in some way. From what I read, we're going to be in Stu Macher's house. There's upgrades to it, as if the house went from being from 1996 to 2022. Maybe this Ghostface killer with a metallic mask is part of some fan movie that they're doing, or something like that. We never really seen Ghostface act like this. He never really had the metallic mask type thing going on. You see he's got cut off sleeves. He's got white muscly man arms. You really can narrow it down if that was a real shot of the Ghostface killer. I don't think it was. I think it's going to be kind of a misdirect. It's going to look cool. There's going to be flames, and there's going to be a misdirect, and it's going to be a Stab movie or something to that effect. I don't think they would be dumb enough unless they pulled like an Infinity Gauntlet and took the gems out, and it's actually a woman's arm that they CGI'd a man's arm over, but that's a lot of work. I don't really think that's something that they did. And the number one thing that I think is definitely going to happen, at least in my opinion, is Dewey's not going to make it through this movie. I can't see all 3 of the original cast members making it through this film. I think Dewey has the biggest target to make it kind of a gut punch, because he's the glue that holds them together. Every time they come back to Woodsboro, he's the one that's always there. And we see Gale having an emotional moment in the trailer, and it seems like Sidney's holding her back. I think that's the scene where Dewey dies. At least I would assume that's what happened. I mean, Dewey, I can't really see them taking the scary movie route and having him Kaiser Sose and be the bad guy the whole time, even though he's the one calling Sidney back to help. I mean, it could be a trap. I don't see that happening. I don't think he's making it to the end of this film. That's what I think, more than anything else I talked about, is going to happen. Dewey isn't going to make it. But that's my opinion. Let me know if you guys have any theories before you go and see it. I plan on doing a review after I see it very shortly, so expect that. Come back and watch my review. It's gonna have spoilers, I'm sure, because this is a film you can't really talk about without doing spoilers, so keep that in mind. And I hope that you guys enjoy the film. I hope it's as good as I expect it to be, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.